There's a guy there just in the nick of time. What does that make us?
Big damn heroes, sir.
Ain't we just?
Tell you what, after I've crushed my enemies, we'll see about getting you published. That should cheer you up, hmm?
Got a guy with things coming out of his hand. We got another guy who freezes stuff. And then there's a man who, as far as I can tell, is made out of electricity. I mean, how did he disappear like that? What is going on here?
Hello and welcome to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM, a film and TV radio show where a handful of film enthusiasts shoot the breeze about all things film and television. I am Marcus E. Acko, and I have watched the second season of Luke Cage on Netflix.
My name's Laura Sampson, and I have not watched the second series of Luke Cage on Netflix. What am I missing?
That's bittersweet news because we've got Laura back. Welcome back, Laura. Yes, finally you've come back to rescue us from Dave and his fingers on the control panel. Because I'm kidding. Dave,
it's nice. It's nice to feel appreciated for not my voice, but my fingerful expertise. Let's not go into that anymore, shall we?
We appreciate you for your voice. We've missed your voice tons. We're happy that you're back in the studio. I am slightly disappointed that you haven't watched Luke Cage, but I know you've been busy. Don't worry.
I've been watching The Handmaid, and it's completely transfixing.
Handmaid or The Handmaid's Tale?
The Handmaid's Tale.
Okay, cool. Okay, I was thinking the Japanese movie, Handmaid. There's a different movie. There's a movie called Handmaid. And
I have actually also seen that.
Yeah.
But no, this week it's all about The Handmaid's Tale and trying to get clips of episodes that we don't have yet off YouTube and piecing them together. Like, I don't know whether you did this for Game of Thrones. I did. I got all of the best scenes before I was allowed to watch the whole episode.
Why? I'm
impatient.
That just ruins the whole. You know what? We'll go into that another time. But obviously, you have been. I was going to say adequately, but no, I'm kidding. You've been well represented by the other host in the show. Go on. I'll let you talk so you don't hit me.
Yes, okay, I was choking there. David Campbell here, behind the mic. Luckily, this time not driving it. Leave that to Laura today. Unfortunately, yes, I still managed to swipe.
Yeah, David. Yeah, exactly. Just as your parting shot, you're like, yeah, let's just screw with the intro, shall we?
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, the computer did help me, so
you know I kid. You know I'm kidding when I make fun of you, right?
Yeah.
It's all in jest, right?
Yeah.
You know that, right?
David Campbell, the agent of chaos.
Anyway, what was I? I did not watch.
You haven't seen Luke Cage?
I have not seen Luke Cage.
What is with you?
I've been watching Legion. I've been sticking with Legion, and recently, this week, I've been chunking my way through a particular movie, which we'll talk about a bit later.
We'll talk about that. Excellent. Well, with us in the studio is an actor, writer, producer, director, and the host of Nerd Genius on YouTube. Please tell us your name and whether you've seen the second season of Luke Cage or not.
I am Michael Burhan, and of course I have seen the second season of Luke Cage because I'm a freelancer, so I have some free time. Fair enough. It was amazing. I enjoyed it, and I feel like it's the best season yet.
Out of the two of them, when you say the best season, you mean in amongst all the Marvel Netflix shows, or just the best Luke Cage season?
The best Luke Cage, and also probably better than the Defenders as well, because I felt the Defenders was a bit of a hot mess.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I agree with you. Here's the thing. My opinion of the first season of Luke Cage, it was very strong. The first 6 episodes was very strong. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but something happens and a switch occurs.
Yeah.
And the second half of that season, for me, was not as strong, was not as good.
Yeah.
That they fixed that in the second season. The second season is just from the first episode to the last episode is strong. The characters remain sort of as they need to. You don't have that major shift and major twist. You see a development in the character of Luke Cage, and it builds, and it's a good.
And there's an ongoing narrative. Like working in this business, the worst part of working in this business is we can't enjoy stuff the way that normal people would. Like, we go to the cinema.
Explain.
We go to the cinema and we pick things apart. Like, because I've directed before, because I've done a little bit of cinematography, and also because I've acted in stuff, you can always point out when there's something that's not right. Like, it was one of the reasons why I ruined a date, because I went to see The Last Jedi, and literally I was like, no, that isn't right. I don't like that.
Sure.
Why are they doing this? And she was just looking at me like, what are you doing?
No, I do understand. I do understand what you mean. Where there are certain twists that you can see coming, and people who aren't as people who haven't watched as many movies as we have, or people who don't understand that, or don't actually dissect the language of cinema the way that some of us would do, may miss certain points, may miss certain jokes, may miss certain tricks or tropes that would actually be coming up, and so that may ruin it for us compared to them that are watching it. But hey, I say still enjoy it. Anyway, we've been talking way too much. We need to talk about what's going on in the show. You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
And I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell.
And with us in the studio is actor, writer, producer, director, and host of Nerd Genius on YouTube, Michael Burhan. We are going to be talking Michael's projects. We're going to be doing top 5. Our top 5 category this week is top 5 based on Nerd Genius, which is Michael's show on YouTube, which is about is reviewing video games. We'll be doing our top 5 favorite films based on video games. But before we do that, let's go to film and TV news. So it appears the trans community is having a go at Scarlett Johansson for a project that was recently announced she was going to be in. The project is called Rub and Tug, and it is supposed to be directed by Rupert Sanders, who Scarlett Johansson and Rupert Sanders have been in trouble before for another reason, because of the previous project they worked on, which was Ghost in the Shell. But Rub and Tug is a different movie. It's about a gangster. It's based on a real story of a gangster in Las Vegas who...
That was a real police car, just saying. It
really adds to the ambience, doesn't it?
It does. You see, that's the thing. It's because it's such a lovely day. The people, broadcasters that listen to this show are probably thinking, "Look, why aren't you in a soundproof booth?" Is because the weather is lovely. I'm not going to say the weather is terrible because it's hot. I love the heat. I know we've sidestepped the story that we're talking about right now, but
sorry, it's my fault.
No.
Please.
No. This is a point I want to make, because a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, it's too hot. It's too hot," and I'm like, "What is wrong with you? You're in Britain, where basically every time the weather is just muggy or freezing or cold, or not even freezing, not like snow, where I'm going on a different rant, but I'm just saying, I love the weather right now. I'm probably in the minority.
I'm pretty much one of these guys. I love the heat. I hate like, I've got a very, very bad immune system, so whenever it gets cold, I'm sitting there all snotty and everything, and I have to take like millions of drugs just to keep myself stable.
That must be difficult as an actor. How do you hide having a cold?
Drugs.
Yeah, drugs. Plenty of drugs. But
you mean
that's the
over-the-counter
thing.
drugs, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Right, okay.
Of course.
Yeah, over-the-counter stuff.
Make sure that one's clear.
So, nice little segue, actually, because you said heat, and Scarlett Johansson is in hot water over this situation.
Nice. You should do this more often. Anyway, back off my rant, back into this. So Scarlett Johansson, the character she plays in Rub and Tug is a gangster who identifies himself as male but was born female.
Yes.
That's why, and she's playing the character, and the trans community have attacked her and the production because they feel that actually this is another case of an actor, a famous actor being chosen over someone of from the trans community.
Yeah,
Michael, what's your opinion on this topic?
It's a catch-22 situation, because it's quite similar to the Oscar So White situation, where there's not a person in the film industry that can represent or bring a box office draw to the movie big enough for it. Because you do have very established trans actors at the moment who are working currently in television, which is great. But at the same time, they see Scarlett Johansson still as a draw. But at the same time, if you look at the way Ghost in the Shell went, it should have been a lesson learned.
Yeah, okay. This might be one of those situations where, because we've ranted about this similar topic, where this was the situation that occurred with the Hellboy production, where Ed Skrein stepped down because the character he was supposed to be playing was of Japanese descent.
Yes,
and who picked it up? The actor from I think it's the actor from Lost.
Yes.
Who stepped into the role, and that kind of kicked off another argument because he's actually Korean.
Yes.
And so people are saying, and this is the thing. The reason why I think this is slightly different from something like the Oscar So White situation, and this may be you may say I'm being hypocritical about this, but I'll take it. There are actors of color who are well known.
Yeah.
And if you put them in those roles, they will bring the audience. It's just that in those situations, they didn't put actors who could have brought audience members. Hellboy is a perfect example.
Yeah.
They changed the character. Ed Skrein is not that big an actor. He's not a bigger draw to box office draw that he should be used to replace that character. There are other actors who could actually play that character as it's meant to be and have a box office draw. With regards to Robin Tugg, the main character, it's the main character. This is the main character.
Yeah.
You need people to come and watch the movie. And I do understand what you mean. There are trans actors in the business.
Yes.
But there isn't, with the exception of Laverne Cox, who is the trans actor from, from the TV show about the prisoners, female prisoners,
Netflix,
Orange is the New Black.
Black.
Yes, with the exception of her, I can honestly, I can't tell you, I can't mention any other trans actor.
Well, because most that have played trans characters have been basically cis males or
Yes,
cis females.
exactly.
Yes.
Jeffrey Tambor, Felicity Huffman,
Jared Leto,
exactly. So I do understand what they're saying. I do understand that you may. It's probably yes. There should be a time. It should bring trans actors to the fore to do that. However, who can step up to play that? If you're going to make that argument, step up with an actor that can play that role instead of Scarlett Johansson. That will be a big enough draw for that character. But
again, it's a catch-22 situation because Scarlett Johansson played a role that was supposed to be Japanese in Ghost in the Shell, and it created such a backlash that the movie tanked.
No, but that's the thing. Okay, so in that situation, I do agree. I agree with the fact that that movie tanked because of that. Because this is the thing: there are actresses or actors, if you want to use the term, who could have played that role other than Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, and we were just having a conversation about like Street Fighter, the movie. Like literally, the actress who played Chun-Li, she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ming-Na Wen.
Ming-Na Wen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, Ming-Na Wen, perfect. If she had been, and that's the thing, she would have been a perfect actress to play in Ghost in the Shell, right? To be the lead of Ghost in the Shell, because she would have been a big box office draw because she was currently hot from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
She's done other things as well. She was in Stargate Universe and a number of other projects, so she's recognizable. She would have brought people to come and watch the movie, and fans of Ghost in the Shell would have gone to see it because of her.
Hang on.
Yes.
You said that she's a big enough draw to bring people to the movies, and I'm kind of like, I'm not too sure about that.
Okay.
Because basically, I recognize her face.
Yes.
But I could not remember her name.
That's true.
And I saw, and I watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so that's how I was able to, when I was watching, Street Fighter,
yes.
I was able to, oh my God, that's her.
But here's the thing. The draw in that regards, Ghost in the Shell is a draw in itself, right? Ghost in the Shell is a property. It's a manga. It's a manga. It's an
anime, basically.
Yeah, anime. That's it. So it's already, that in itself is going to be the main draw, right? It's a partnership with who's going to play that character, but it's also the fact that you could literally put an unknown in that role, and you would still be bringing people to watch that film because it's Ghost in the Shell,
right?
But with let me just say one bit. With Robin Tugg, on the other hand, because it's a lesser known story, if you had put a lesser known actor in there or an unknown actor in there, there is nothing to pull people apart from the storyline, and that's the reason why I think
I didn't go and see Ghost in the Shell.
Sure.
Because it had been on TV years ago, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I remember the TV series, and I enjoyed that so much. I thought to myself, why am I going to go and see this shortened down version? That's the reason why I didn't go and see it.
Okay.
But going back to your thing about big stars playing, I went to see Boys Don't Cry.
Yes.
1999 film starring
Hilary Swank.
And I just pulled it up there just to make sure I got the right title. Now, Hilary Swank is a big name.
Yeah.
But she wasn't as big then.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was the storyline that interested me. That's the reason why I went to see it.
Understood.
It wasn't necessarily Hilary Swank.
Understood.
So you've got the two arguments there. You've got a storyline that was very, very interested, pull me in, and would have pulled other people in. But you've also got someone who wasn't that big of a star at the time.
Okay.
Assuming. So I went to see it. So the argument could be that if the storyline that is interesting to people, they will go and see the film anyway, irrespective of who the star is.
The problem is, though, with the current climate as it is in Hollywood, and you know this, being someone who's worked on films, independent films and budgets, a lot of the pull for these and the investment and the funding comes from who you cast.
True.
So you either have to have a big name director or a big name actor involved. Otherwise, 9 times out of 10, you won't get any funding. So, like, I've worked with a lot of different directors. I even had a friend of mine who got conditional funding for his project based on the fact that he had to literally get a very well-known named actress as his lead, and he had to make the film in a certain way. And the problem is, because studios have such a stranglehold on this, they're not looking at the actors anymore, because in the 90s and even in the 80s, it wasn't about the actor, it was about the material itself. Now it's more about, who are you going to get to lead the film? Who's directing the film? Is it going to work? What's the source material? But it literally is a catch-22 situation, because sometimes you might get it right, sometimes you might get it wrong. But I also understand the plight that the trans community is going on at the moment, because especially in America, they're vilified and treated like second-class citizens.
That's true, especially the last couple of years where you've had the issues about the bathroom laws and everything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because of that, and especially with the LGBTQ community in general, they're trying to fight back, but they're basically trying to pick as many battles as they can in order to fight back. I think in terms, for me, as someone who loves film, and I think Scarlett Johansson's a credible actor. I'm not too much of a fan of her as an actor herself. I feel like she's done some great stuff. I'm a big fan. One of my favorite movies is Lost in Translation. Yes, with her and Bill Murray. Bill Murray is like king. Prove me wrong. But when you look at those and you look at what she's done, you can tell that she has enough kind of star power to put this movie together. What I would say to people is, don't judge. And the problem is, when it gets out on the internet and when you have everybody talking, so many talking heads, it will create a very negative PR. It happened with Ghostbusters. It happened with all these other movies, Ghost in the Shell as well. And they just tanked because there was so much negative feedback coming through.
No, you're absolutely right. And this is going to be a topic that will rage on, and people will have different opinions on it. If you have any opinions that you want to let us know, please send us your messages on Facebook at Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM, or on Twitter at STB_Resonance FM. Just to let us know what you think.
Excuse me. Isn't there a handle that you're missing?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hey, I've been pushing the handle. Make sure you put the handle, hashtag, it's all about the three-way.
Even though there's 4 of us in the studio today.
But it's all about the three-way. That's what it is. So
it's okay if it's in a freeway.
It's a Lonely Island. I like that. Oh, good. So anyway, we have a guest. You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. We have a guest with us. My name is Marcus E. Acko.
And I'm Laura Sampson.
And we also have
David Campbell.
But our guest today is we're going to have a spotlight on him. So let's go with the cue. So we have actor, writer, producer, director, host of YouTube channel Nerd Genius, Michael Burhan.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. See, I had an argument with someone recently. Anyone who says who uses that expression, Jack of all trades, master of none, is just jealous that you're good at loads of things.
Yeah.
So screw them. So Michael, tell us, what is your show, Nerd Genius?
Nerd Genius started when I came out of drama school, because I finished doing a movie with yourself, Slap or Die, way back. I was around about 2007.
Yes.
And I sat there and I remember in the car I was talking to you and I was like, I need to go to drama school because I need to learn about this, because you were so passionate. You're kind of one of the things that drove me. So I went to this university called St Mary's. They're partnered with the School of Speech and Language in North London. And I did a 2-year degree, came out of it, and I was like, I need to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I watched this YouTube channel called The Happy Console Gamer, and I was just like, what is this? It was a really bad movie that the guy made. The acting was terrible, but I loved his nostalgic passion. So I came back and I started looking at ideas of what I wanted to do. And the channel kind of started off as being an interview channel, then it turned into a gaming channel, then it turned into a movie review channel, and now it's a variety channel, because I do a lot of comedic stuff on there.
Yeah, because it's a lot of you have a lot of content that you've been producing, I guess, since 2007. Well, you kind of started around 2008, going forward from there, and it does cover a wide range of things, as you said. You've got video games that you review, you've got films that you review. You go to Comic-Con a lot, and you do a lot of shows from Comic-Con.
I do like interviews and stuff with people. I've been very privileged to interview guys like Lou Ferrigno. I interviewed David Hayter. He's the voice of Solid Snake from the Metal Gear games.
Oh, yes.
He also, I'm the only person who pointed out he was in Guyver Dark Hero, and he was also the writer for the X-Men movies as well, and Watchmen and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman.
Yes, of course.
So I managed to get all these interviews in. I interviewed so many of these guys, and it's a blessing in a sense, because as soon as you say to someone, I do freelance press, can I do this? A lot of people will just turn their head and go, well, if you've got a YouTube channel, then no. But because I've managed, I've got very much a sweet tongue. I can talk to people, and I can sell ice to the Eskimos. So I managed to talk my way into situations.
Hashtag sweet tongue.
Hashtag sweet tongue. And I can basically sell myself to people. So I sell myself. People come in. And I get to go to these like awesome places and interview people. I even talked my way into an interview with one of the gaming legends, a man who's considered a rock star, Suda51.
Yeah.
And I got an interview with him because the slots were all booked up, and I had this little Japanese man come up to me and goes, "Are you from Switch magazine?" I was like, "Oh no, but if you've got 5 minutes, I would like to have an interview with, if you can." He just went, "1 moment." Come back, and just looked at me and went, okay. So I got myself in the room and had an amazing interview, and it's basically like spiraled from there.
Yeah.
But I've been producing my own content since, and one of the biggest shows on my channel right now is a Rather British Review.
And that's what kind of a tangent I wanted to make from there. So you have Nerdgenius that's been going on for quite a while on YouTube. You've got a large following as well.
Yes.
Especially in the States, a lot of people who are focusing in on the game reviews that you've been doing.
Yes.
But you started off in films, and you started out as an actor, and then basically built your way that way into making
I went from acting to presenting. I even used to host a podcast, so that answers the question how I know how to do segues. I was doing a podcast called
I'm Still Practicing, so
yeah, it's literally one of those things where people just started migrating to me, and there's a lot of people who follow me who love what I do, and because I'm pretty much very honest about who I am and the struggles that I go through, they follow everything that I do, and I've built up a very big fan base. Right now my Facebook page, Michael Burhan Actor, by the way, if you want to add yourself on there.
Absolutely.
Is over like 7,000 followers. Okay. And a lot of it is because people like to see my acting stuff, and they also like the YouTube bits.
You're very, as you said, you're very open and raw on your Facebook posts, because you put a lot of your personal life, a lot of things that happen to you out on Facebook. We don't necessarily have to go through all of that stuff. If you want to know more about that, go on Facebook and follow him, Michael Burhan Actor on Facebook.
Yeah, you can ask me anything, so I'm not really too hard on it. But it's opened a lot of doors. Like for the YouTube channel, I did a short little 3-part series called This Job for Hire, and that got picked up by the BBC.
Okay.
And I turned it into a full series before BBC Three turned into an internet-only platform. Yeah. So I recently got the rights back for that. It allowed me to kind of communicate with other people in the industry and stuff as well, and it allowed me to build up my contacts not only as an actor but also through the gaming industry, and it's a blessing.
And I know there was a project that you were working on, which is still in legal tangles, so we won't necessarily go through that one. But there's one that's currently, well, not currently, but it's about to come out on Amazon, correct?
Yes. Basically, this film was produced in 2008, directed by Louis Denniston. I actually was one of the people that cultivated the script for this movie, because The original, we were having a conversation about this before we started the show, which was I got cast for this movie. I turn up, didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I helped cast like the female lead. And the director just said, we're just going to do all improv.
Nice.
So I went, no, we're not going to do that. I had like this, but at the time we were using MSN. So I had an MSN messenger full of like the conversation we had.
Okay.
I built the script myself and built the movie up. And then we filmed everything. And I got it through the film festival as soon as I got the rights to it. It's called A Long Time Gone. So it's about a guy called Jason, how he struggles to kind of maintain his life after a big event gets him thrown in jail, and he comes out, tries to like reconnect with his ex-girlfriend, tries to find out what the heck's going on, and it turns from kind of a drama to more a thriller.
Yeah.
So a whodunit, so to speak. Which it's a really, really great movie. It was given 4 stars by UK Film Review, which I'm really happy about. And it was done at a time before I knew what I was doing in terms of an act. I was finding my feet.
And it's going to be on Amazon pretty soon, right?
Amazon Prime. I'm hoping right now it's distributed by my own company, Enigma Entertainment, so it should be within the middle of July, towards the end of July, but they've given me the middle of July, which is going to be the time that the movie will be released.
Okay, we're going to be talking more about, we'll post it on our Facebook page and on Twitter as well, so we'll get everyone who's interested in watching the movie to go and watch it on Amazon Prime. You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell, and I've got a question.
Yeah, you got a question for who? You got a question for?
I've got one for Michael. Okay. Well, Michael and you, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because basically, I'm sitting here listening, and you two are rabbiting on and blah, blah, blah. And but Michael turns around and says, yeah, this is where I met you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. Right.
Sorry, so we don't have that much time to
So I know that you two, that Michael directed a short film called What We Are.
Yes.
Which I wasn't able to watch.
Okay.
I wasn't able to see it. But then I find out that you did another film together, which you both starred in. So, discuss.
All right. So, do you want to take this?
Yeah. Well, the first, I'll take about the film that we basically found together. The first movie was called Slap or Die. I met the director.
Slap what? Or
Slap
die.
or Die.
No. Slap what or die. Come on, explain what the film's about.
Basically, the whole terminology is for the Americans. It's called slapball. So it's like the movies like Dodgeball and stuff like that, where it's a movie around something that doesn't make sense if you try to do it in a serious context. So it's kind of like a parody movie in its own way.
It's like Dodgeball meets Karate Kid meets, I don't know, any revenge like pulp gangster revenge blaxploitation movie. Yeah.
So the movie became this so bad it was good type of movie because it's hilarious. The acting is very hammy. The characters are really silly. And one of the standout performances was one by Marcus, who basically played my mentor in the movie. Because I played a very straight character, Billy, after having the director yell at me about, like, I want you to play him like this. I'm like, basically the straight man. No, I want you to play him like this. So I ended up playing him the straight man. And Marcus came in and he improvised. Well, he wrote most of his lines himself, so I didn't know what he was going to say before he said it. So there was times on set where I ended up literally cracking up because he was insulting me constantly to the point where I was in tears with laughter because I could not hold a straight face.
It was a good funny project. I mean, do you have clips of that, or even
I have the clips, I have the masters, I have everything.
So where can we see this?
Yes, I'm going to find you and burn it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I really enjoyed working on that on that project. I really loved working with everyone. The director, Sukhdeep Sanghera. Yeah, it's such a shame that he's kind of moved out of film because but you could see, because he was in film school at the time, and you could see the passion that he had. He just needed a little bit of direction going in to get himself. He had great ideas. He just needed them refined. I loved working on that project. That was the first time that we met, but we worked on another project, which was a few years after that.
Yeah, it's the funny thing is because every time you message me on Facebook, it always starts with "Hey dude," and he was just like, "Hey dude, I've got this project." It was in 2015, I believe.
Was that what
We Are?
Okay, fair enough.
And you went, "Hey dude, I've got this project. I need to build a team. You've got kit. Do you want to do it?" So I was like, "Yeah." So I kind of went to this film festival with Marcus called the 48 Hour Film Festival. So what you had to do is you had to put the script together, build everything within 48 hours, and then like shoot it, edit it, get it out there, and then get it back to them by the time the festival closes, so they can do the submissions.
Yeah, you start at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. on a Friday, and you have to get back by 7 p.m. on the Sunday with a fully edited movie for them to, fully edited short, not like feature film, but like within I think it's a 15-minute movie at least.
Yeah, and it's and the funny thing about it, I've actually entered in the festival the second time as an actor, and I won as part of an ensemble cast for that. But this time, we shot it, I directed it, everything. Like, I felt the acting was on point, the actors that we worked with was great. Then it came to the editing. The editing wasn't done properly. The audio, the guy didn't use the audio we recorded.
Yeah. Everything. I mean, the project was kind of flawed from the beginning. But that's what you get in a 40-hour project. Yeah. But we managed to pull together, and by the end of Saturday, which is when we finished shooting everything, after pretty much grueling hours of shooting and everything that we'd done. It was great. We were happy with what we wanted. We handed it over to the editor, and the editor wasn't as committed as we were. That was basically the best way to put it.
Pretty much.
Was not as committed as we were to the project, because the editor wasn't there throughout the shoot. So they were basically coming. They were, in their opinion, doing us a favor. I guess everyone was doing each other a favor at that point, but yeah. So that same level of passion and enthusiasm wasn't there when it needed to be edited, and so we submitted this very rough copy. But then you worked on it afterwards, right?
Yeah, I got. I was like, I'm not gonna let this die. I'm gonna keep working on it. So I then built it up and just kept working on it and trying to salvage it the best way that I possibly could. And it works for what it is. It's a really nice short. It's not going to win any awards.
That's a nice way of selling it.
No, like in terms of the acting, it's pretty good. The scripting's great. I feel like with anything, I would have to advance at a certain level in terms of editing and technology in order to make that story happen the way that I want it to.
Okay.
Because his script it was really well done. It was really polarizing. His character, the way he portrayed it, was very well done, and I felt like Grace and Mikey did a very good job doing their roles.
Yeah, they were good. They were very good.
They were very good actors. I just felt like in terms of what we were trying to gun for, the level of techniques and experiences weren't there in order to actually put it together in kind of a way as an editor and as in terms of my direction as well. I felt like it could have been. We could have used the space a lot more.
Yeah.
But again, it is what it is. I'm still proud of it.
Where can we see it? If anyone wants to watch it,
where can we see it? If you go to youtube.com/TheNerdGenius, it's there. The whole full film is there, including a brand new intro that I did that makes it look really good. And then you watch the film afterwards, and you're just like, the intro is amazing, but there's stuff you could have done here.
Yeah.
But again, I talk it. As with every project, I see it as a lesson to help me perfect myself as a better director and as a better actor. So.
Absolutely, David. Are you happy with that response?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I've got another question though.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I got another question now.
Sure.
Because I was reviewing your content on YouTube.
Yes.
And I came across a review you did for a certain film that I saw.
Okay.
And funny enough, the way you talked about it, I thought, my God, this guy's going to give it something like 4, and I didn't agree with that at the time.
Sure.
And when you gave the mark, it was like, oh my God, it's the same mark as I did.
Yes.
So Deadpool 2.
Oh, okay.
So, but all I will say to you about that is baby legs.
Yes. The funny thing is, because it's myself and my co-host on the review, Trista Bites, who's really it's someone I basically do a bit of collabs with, and we went to see the movie and we did this huge collab discussion thing, and I enjoyed the movie for what it was, but I didn't think it was again, it wasn't a cinematic masterpiece.
Sure.
It was something where you could say it was a bog standard Ryan Reynolds movie. It was hilarious. The cameos were hilarious.
Yep, I agree.
Everything worked. But I'm not going to sit there and go, that's a 10 out of 10.
Of course not. Yeah,
it was it was what it was. It was hilarious. But if I don't see it tomorrow or don't see it for the next 5 years, I'm not going to miss anything.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
We're going to put a link to that review. We're also going to put a link to what we are, the film that we did. If you can get the clips for Slap or Die, we can.
I've got that on our personal YouTube channel, so I will add them onto my Nerd Genius channel as well.
Perfect. And we're going to put all of those links on our Facebook page, which is Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM.
Yes.
And we'll also feel free to go watch all those links. and then message us either on Facebook or Twitter at STB_resonance FM with the hashtag it's all about the three-way. So we'll get it and we'll hear what you think about it. If
that
you think
song keeps going through my head every time you say that.
What, it's all about a three-way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. We should play that song next time. No, but it's we'll clean that song. And
there
then
is
we'll
a
play
censored version, I think.
There probably is.
There is.
You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell.
And with us in the studio, we have producer, actor, writer, director, and host of Nerd Genius on YouTube, Michael Burhan. And he's here, and because his show, Nerd Genius on YouTube, focuses a lot. One of the main areas of focus is on games, and he's a film actor and writer and director as well. We're going to combine the two together, and we'll do our top 5 category, which will be announced in a second after the little clip. So the topic of our top 5 favorite film category this week is top 5 favorite films based on video games. The way we normally do it is we start with our guest, who says his or her number 5 and 4, and then we go to the next person in the room and come to me last, and then we'll go around again and do 3, 2, and then go around and do 1. If you've listened to the show, you know it. If you haven't, enjoy how we go around the round robin to talk about our favorite, top 5 favorite films based on video games. Now, just before we get to go, our guest to tell us his. David, you said that you're abstaining from this list?
I have to, because I've only seen one.
Okay, so when we come to the number ones, you can then say what your number 1 is.
I wouldn't even say it was a number 1.
No, hey, it's
just the only one.
It's your only one,
yeah.
which will be automatically be defaulted as your favorite. Yeah. So, our guest today, Michael Burhan, please tell us what your number 5 and your number 4 favorite film based on the video games would be.
Okay, like no particular order. Number 5, I would say...
No particular order. There is a particular order. It's a top 5. You're going from 5 to 1.
Okay. Number 5...
No particular order. Did you not hear what the category, what the segment was?
Well, this is a guy who has a top 5 section on his YouTube channel.
Yes, I do.
Well. So, you know what I mean?
I have a segment called The Top 5.
Yeah, which is not in any particular order.
It really isn't. It's just like 5 things that I talk about. So number 5 for me is a movie that I was actually going to be producing a TV show about, but there was issues. Internal politics, shall we say. Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Now, the story itself... didn't really resonate as well as the game did, but it had the ambiance of the film, of the original game in it. It was... I'm trying to think who directed it. It will come to me. I know he's a French director. It doesn't really do much, but it's a really polarizing film. It's very scary, and it really holds true to what the original game was trying to convey.
Okay, and that's your number 5. What's your number 4?
Number 4, I'm going to go with Street Fighter. Just because the fact that Raul Julia is the most... You could tell when someone's having fun in a movie when they basically just ham it up big time. And Raul Julia was amazing. And the best quotes came from M. Bison in that movie.
One of the clips that we played at the start of the show was his, which is it's after I finish Conquering, we'll see to get you published.
Of course!
Yeah, that's good. Laura, what is your number 5 and number 4?
I just have to say before I start that, like David, I may be scraping the barrel slightly on this, but I have seen more than one.
Sure.
Although some of them you might feel don't quite qualify.
Give your mention, and we'll see. And I'll be honest, I won't judge you as harshly as I normally have in the past. So, what is your number 5? What's your number 4?
Yeah,
okay, my number 5 is Resident Evil.
That's a video game, yes.
It's a video game. It's not... I wouldn't say it struck me as a really amazing film.
Sure.
But there's a scene with a laser and a bridge which stuck in my mind from the moment I saw it.
That's my favourite.
So you're saying the first Resident Evil, right? Because
first
there's
Resident
about
Evil
20.
I think there's 6 or 7 now. But no, the first one, 2001,
Sure.
starring Mila Jovovich and this laser and this bridge.
What's his name? Colin escapes me. He was in the early Bonds. Tall black guy.
Yeah, I like literally my brain is going fuzz at the moment.
Don't worry, I'll research it and I'll just yell his name out. And
sorry, it was all about the laser for me. So
I spent the whole night editing something, so my brain is mush.
No problem. So yeah, so that's Resident Evil. That's your number 5. Laura, what's your number 4?
But I will commend you. It is actually the best one in the entire franchise. So I'll commend you on that. Yes.
Okay. They started as they meant to go on, but something happened. Anyway, my number 4, which I think really probably doesn't count, is the new Jumanji film. They basically are in a video game.
Doesn't count. Because the segment is called Top 5 Films Based on a Video Game. Jumanji was not an actual video game. It's not even a board game. It's a film based, But I
will say though, it was a good movie.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna. I'm happy that you're back, so I'm not going to take that away from you. You can have. You want Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we'll put that on there.
Colin Salmon.
Thank you, Colin Salmon. Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much.
Named themselves Colin Salmon as
I don't think he named himself. I think that was his
stage name.
What? You have a problem with the name Colin?
No, Salmon. Like, why would you call it last name Salmon?
That's probably his parents. His father's name. It's like he's not going to change his father's name.
No, what if it's a stage name? Like, I'm Michael Burhan, so that rings.
You mean Burhan isn't your father's name?
No.
Wow.
Salmon. Yeah,
this is a house full of lies.
I don't even know you anymore. All right, so
there are issues with salmon, though, aren't there? Really, I mean, I'm thinking, strong, climbing up waterfalls. Fish.
Look, if Engelbert Humperdinck could make up his name and be a success, then Colin Salmon has no problem being who he is.
That's all I have to say.
Fish.
What I'm saying is Chris Hemsworth and Colin Salmon.
Okay.
Actually, Engelbert Humperdinck.
And Engelbert Humperdinck. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Tonight, I'm going to get a list of all I'm going to create a fictional movie in my head which has all the ludicrously named actors, and it's like starring Engelbert
Marcus, what's your number 5 and number 4?
Okay, fair enough. Sorry, yeah, this is why we needed you back, because you rein us in. You rein me in. Thank you very much.
Certainly not. I'm just enabling you to talk about your number 5 and number 4.
So it's all about the three-way.
It's all about the three-way. That's it. You're a significant part of this three-way.
So come on, rein, man. Rein.
Yeah. All right, so my number 5. I have 2 back to back, but they're linked together. Mortal Kombat from 1995, starring. I found out recently is directed by not Paul Wes Anderson. That's a combination of 2 different people. Paul W.S. Anderson, who did the Resident Evil series,
who's also the husband of Mia Jovovich.
Actually, absolutely. So the Mortal Kombat movie. I played Mortal Kombat growing up, and then the movie came out. Christopher Lambert, obviously big from Highlander, and he was big in the 80s. He played Raiden, one of the main characters on it. It's a faithful adaptation of the game itself. The reason why I wanted to put Mortal Kombat on there was because the nostalgia effect is there, but also, which is what I'm pairing it up with, is Mortal Kombat Rebirth, which is a short film. You heard it?
Yeah, that was the one with what's his name from Spawn?
Michael J. White.
Michael J. White.
Yes. Yep, Michael J. White. Ian Anthony Dale. It's a great. If you're a Mortal Kombat fan, go and watch the short movie. You can find it on YouTube, and I'm not going to tell you what the story is, but it doesn't follow the game. It basically adapts it, and it's really
it makes
good.
It more kind of street level.
Yes, it makes it palatable for people who aren't gaming fans or fans of games. Go and look for it. It's called Mortal Kombat Rebirth. If anything, I would throw Mortal Kombat, the first one, out of number 5 and have Mortal Kombat Rebirth as my number 5. My number 4 has already been mentioned. Silent Hill. You've talked about Silent Hill.
Yes.
Radha Mitchell, Sean Bean. It's a great adaptation of the computer game itself. The sequel wasn't that great.
Sequel was actually made by a guy who, it was his first film actually.
Okay.
He won Project Greenlight. And
really?
Yeah.
Project Greenlight, that's the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon thing, right?
He won that, and he basically made it, and he literally fanboyed all over that movie.
Okay.
Because he turned Pyramid Head into like one of the lead characters, which I don't understand why.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the original Silent Hill movie. Yeah. That's my number 5 and number 4. So number 5 is Mortal Kombat Rebirth. Number 4 is Silent Hill Rebirth. 1 second. You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. The person I've just interrupted is our guest, Michael Burhan, who's actor, writer, director, producer, and host of Nerd Genius. Michael, what were we going to say first?
I was going to say the director is Christoph Gans.
Oh, yes, for Silent Hill.
Yes.
Well done. Okay, yay. I'm Marcus Iacco.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell, and this is Michael Burhan.
Yes.
He's going to give us his top 3 and number 2.
Well done. the three-way is acting up.
I feel like I'm in like primary school right now.
We have teachers and teachers' assistants telling us you need to focus. Go on. Focus. So what is your number 3? What's your number 2?
Number 3, I will basically, it's a video game movie, but not in the sense of being a video game movie. It's a promotional movie for Nintendo, The Wizard.
Oh, okay.
Starring Christian Slater. It was like when I was a kid, it was my first time I saw Super Mario Brothers 3. So I was like going to my dad, I want that. And secondly, it had a very nice little story about this little boy who was affected by his sister's death and wanted to put her memory to rest. And it had that encompassed in all the whole video game thing. Plus, despite the fact that one of the actors had a bit of controversy, it was also one of those. It has one of the best lines where he goes, "The power glove." The Power Glove line. What was it?
So is it based on a video game?
It is.
Okay.
It's based on the Nintendo franchise of games.
Okay, fair enough.
So Nintendo's incorporated in the whole thing. You get to see Double Dragon in there.
Oh, nice.
There's video game tournaments and everything. If you haven't seen this movie, it's on Netflix, I believe, and Amazon Prime. So
and it's called The Wizard, right?
The Wizard.
Okay, so that's your number 3. What's your number 2?
Number 2, I'm going with a movie that wasn't very good. But if you actually listen to like the podcasts and the YouTube series and stuff about it, there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. The Gaming Historian has a great documentary on it. The Super Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. Yeah. When I was a kid, I was like, this is amazing. Then I watched it as an adult. I was like, this isn't amazing. It's terrible. But it's...
Bob Hoskins is an Italian-American and John Leguizamo.
Leguizamo, it was easily he could play like the Italian-American.
Yeah.
Bob Hoskins not so much because he had a thick British accent.
Sure.
So he tried to play the American accent, so all you could hear is Cockney inside like this weird American shell. The funny thing about it was they got drunk on set a lot when shooting this movie.
Really?
To the point where Bob Hoskins injured his hand halfway through shooting because John Leguizamo was told to drive a truck while intoxicated.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What was the podcast? We're going to...
The Gaming Historian does a great documentary on it. Okay. So if you go to youtube.com/The Gaming Historian, I'm plugging a lot of YouTubers today.
I know, that's so good. That's what you're here for. You're the host of Nerd Genius on YouTube, so that's what you could do.
Show some love.
Laura, what's your number 3 and what's your number 2?
My number 3 is Final Fantasy, the first one.
Okay.
Again, and really not because I really loved it at the time, but because it was the first time that kind of human-looking animation was used in the film, and I mean it was quite a sweet story as well. It was kind of a kind of earth-loving, like massive exorcism of with a happy ending,
and it had Alec Baldwin in it.
Yes, it did.
Yes,
one
of the main characters.
Yeah, it did.
Was Ming-Na Wen the main character in it as well?
Yes, and apparently the woman that she was voicing is actually, she was an actress that was engineered by Square Enix to be like the first 3D actress.
Yes,
basically.
because I remember there was a big push where it's sort of one of the main plugs for that particular movie was that this could replace actors on screen.
Yeah, and it didn't.
No, because they could never get around the what's that expression, the term for it, whereas the Dead Valley or something like that, where it's when you're looking at animated characters and you can always tell that it's an animated character. Your brain is never fooled that it's a human, it's an actual human you're looking at.
But it's also like the emotion and the gravitas of what you have when you're actually watching someone on set.
Yeah.
When you're watching an actor, you're literally watching someone akin to yourself, and you can't really do that to a character.
But look at Andy Serkis and Mocap. though.
Yeah, but again, he's a guy who can do amazing characters as well. So all of his is in the voice. He's a great voice actor.
Sure.
And I think, but even with that, if you had Andy Serkis doing mocap for an entire movie, like what was that one that Tom Hanks did?
Polar Express.
The Polar Express. Yeah. You could tell that was Tom Hanks just playing different characters.
Of course.
So, you know, it doesn't. And another little tidbit from that is it almost bankrupted the company.
That's true.
It was a hugely expensive movie, wasn't it?
They spent like billions.
It made quite a lot, though.
It did, but not enough to make its money back.
Which one came out? Was it that one or Titan AE? Did that come out?
Titan AE came out before, I think, and then that came out. It's Final Fantasy Spirits Within, because it was produced by Square, and that's before they were bought out and turned into Square Enix.
Got it. Okay. So, Laura, that was
I know much more about it now than I did before we started this conversation. Fantastic.
Yeah. That was your number 3. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is the latest Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I think Alicia Vikander is a really brilliant actress. I've loved her in everything I've seen her in, and it was really her that drew me in to see it, rather than wanting to compare it with the originals, or even the computer game, which I was really awful at when it first came out. I was so bad I couldn't even get onto the first level. Yeah. But anyway,
I was awful at that game because I was distracted by something else. But we won't go into that. So carry on.
My bad gaming aside, it wasn't a great movie, but I really loved the fairly obvious twist about how this about the death goddess inside the mountain.
Yeah.
I really liked Dominic West as a tramp.
Danny
Danny
Wu. Danny Wu was the guy who helped her to get to the island.
Yeah, the knife fight chase across all of the across all this harbour in Hong Kong. It was really beautiful.
Yes.
So that's my number 2.
No, I agree. I really enjoyed. I preferred obviously the latest iteration of Tomb Raider to the previous ones.
Yes.
I think Alicia Vikander, as you said, she was perfect in that role. She gave it everything. She made it real, even in the most unreal scenarios. And yeah, it's a very good movie. I hope they do a second one.
That ain't gonna happen.
No, it's not. It most likely won't happen because it didn't make the money that it would. It won't make the money that will greenlight a second one.
No,
but
I think that Alicia Vikander will get. She might get more action roles.
No,
from
I think she'll probably progress, but I just don't think the movie.
She'll progress. She's an Oscar winner, is she?
Yeah.
So she's.
Well, you know the Oscar curse, man.
No, that's the thing. But the Oscar, you would expect that would be where she would trip with the Oscars, where she's got the Oscar, so she'll do something that will bomb. With the others, you have Halle Berry, who did Catwoman pretty much straight after, and then
Natalie Portman, Your Highness.
Portman, yeah, exactly. And but I don't think you can classify that as a bomb though. So anyway. That's just my opinion. Anyway, my number 3 is Hitman from 2007. This is based on the game Hitman. Timothy Olyphant he plays Agent 47 or Agent 47? Agent 47. And he's just this bald hitman that basically is a killing machine. And it's, for me, I love Timothy Olyphant, even though it's difficult to say his name. He's the guy from Santa Clarita Diet, from Justified, from Go. He's a great actor. So that's what drew me to watch that movie. I still love it today. I remember watching it at the cinema. I'll watch that anytime. That's my number 3. My number 2 is... what was my number 2? My number 2 is Max Payne.
Yes.
Yeah, Max Payne. I played the game 2001. It's basically it was the first real story format game that I played. And it follows this detective who comes home and finds his wife is brutally murdered by some junkies, and he kind of goes undercover to find out who is actually responsible for the drugs on the street, and it goes up. The conspiracy goes higher. Mark Wahlberg takes on the character of Max Payne. This was in 2008. It got a lot of stick for the fact that Mark Wahlberg... I like Mark Wahlberg. He's
Mark
all right.
Wahlberg's very good at playing Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that's what he does. He plays himself. But still, you could say the same thing about Woody Allen. You could say the same thing about now Tom Cruise, Will Smith, a whole bunch of other people. But hey, I have an affinity for Max Payne. I like it.
Also,
that's why it's my number 2.
The story really didn't match the game. That was kind of the other thing people got an issue with.
Yeah, it started off in that vein.
Yes,
but it didn't.
But it went in a different direction.
Exactly. You're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell.
And with us in the studio, with the threesome in the studio, which is the 3 you've just heard, it's all about the hashtag. It's all about the 3-way. We are here discussing our top 5 favorite films based on video games with our guest, actor, writer, director, producer, host of Nerd Genius on YouTube, Michael Burhan. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is basically something where it was done in such a great way that it has to be one of the best video game adaptations I've seen, and it's Street Fighter by Manga Entertainment. It's an anime / feature film that was released on the same time as the Americans did their Street Fighter movie.
Yeah, okay.
It was done so well. Story was really polarizing. The characters really worked. I really wanted to see a second movie to this, but it never got done.
I saw that in my research, but I hadn't actually watched it, which is why I didn't.
Really, really good.
Okay.
Really
David,
good.
what's your number 1?
Well, it's the only one I've seen.
The only one on your list, yeah.
And it's Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
The one starring
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia, Ming-Na, Kylie Minogue.
It's really funny because the only reason why I went to see it was because I heard that Raul Julia died not too long after it.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I saw that film.
Hey, at least he died happy. That's all I'm saying.
And one of the things...
well, if you find out how he died, it wasn't really too happy when he died. But yeah.
I rewatched the film earlier this week, and I have to say that it's a lot better in terms of comedy than I actually initially thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you an example of one of the lines. Set the scene. 2 guys, blah, 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 blah. They're caught. They're in a jail cell, and one of them says to him, the other guy, buddy, give me a hand. The reply was, only been in jail 2 hours, maybe next month.
Nice.
And that just set me off. I mean, there are some really good lines in there.
It's really cheesy.
And it's also got Joe Bugner in there as well.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
He was a boxer. He was a British boxer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He was a British boxer. Simon Callow was in there as well. You know, there are some people popping up in there. So
okay.
As I said, best thing, Raul Julia.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Laura,
yeah, definitely.
Laura, what's your number 1?
You're not going to let me have this one, but it is my number 1, and it is Summer Wars, the anime from 2009. It isn't based on a video game, but it's set in this massive virtual reality world, and it's all about, and it was really good.
You know what, Laura?
You're not going to let me have it.
No, hold on. I'm so happy that you're back. I'm going to let you have that one. It's fine.
Hey, that's unfair. I was going to say Tron, but I took it out deliberately.
No, because where did you go? You've been here throughout. You've been here every single session that she's not been here. So for you brought Tron out. I've taken that out. But Laura, welcome back.
I didn't even bother trying putting it in.
So really, you aren't letting me have it, but you are letting me return. Thank you.
I'm letting you have it. I am letting you have it. It's fine.
Summer Wars, everyone must watch it, even though it's not based on a video game.
My number 1 has already been mentioned numerous times. It is Street Fighter. It's great. You've been listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I want to thank Michael for coming in and joining us. Michael Burhan. Michael, thank you very much. And you need to come back again. The next time you come back, we're going to talk about Area 69, which is the last project that we worked on. But we won't talk about that today because we're running out of time. So I just want to say thank you for coming in. I think next week we might be doing a pre-recorded show, but we don't know. If we do, we'll post it on Facebook. So follow us on Facebook at Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM and on Twitter at STB_Resonance FM. Send us a message and hashtag it with It's All About the 3-way.
It's all about the 3-way.
Yep, it's all about the 3-way.
Thank you. I'm Marcus E. Acko.
I'm Laura Sampson.
I'm David Campbell.
Thank you for listening.
And see you next week.